The Monk Who Sold the Ferrari. This book has been, I've known it for a while, was going to read it, and then I thought it was by somebody else, an author. I didn't know it was by Robin Sharma till I looked it up. I mean, I've heard about the book, thought it was by somebody else. I and then I'm like, I didn't want to read it. And then, I saw it was Robin Sharma a while ago and then didn't put it because I've heard Robin and kind of, I guess, thought maybe I'll know what he'll say. And he didn't disappoint. It's a great book, by the way, for those who haven't read it or know about Robin Sharma. It's a great book to read, for sure. I would say for me, there was a lot of new stuff, but I wish I read this book like 5, 6 years ago when I was on my journey to reading all the books and so forth. Because this was a, shorter form of all the best principles one should live by in a story form, in a fable form. So I don't want to go into too much details in depth because I want to leave that to people who want to actually read it instead of telling you the entire story of the book. But in brief, the story is there's a hotshot lawyer, highly successful lawyer who is going fast and doing really well, and then all of a sudden health fails, and then he decided at that point to go to India and then search of meaning and life and how to be happy, all that stuff. And the story essentially kind of really starts, about the fable starts really when he comes back, meets his old friend who's telling from the first person story on what this guy did in India and what wisdom, or I don't know if it's enlightenment or spirituality, all that principles, he starts sharing with his friend who's going through his own issues, I would say, like most people do. We all do, if you don't know about those principles. And then the story format is really about a fable that the successful lawyer went to India and learned a fable, a story, which is more of a kind of like a bullet points to remind of the important things in life and how you can achieve, how you can be happy and also, achieve your goals, all that stuff, right? So each chapter kind of goes into those details, essentially. Hey, these are the salient points, and this is what the fable or the small story was teaching. It's a story within a story, I guess, more like. But one of the important things he mentions in this book that kind of reminded me is time is precious. There's nothing you can do to bring back time, and death is an equalizer. So live every day like you're going to die today or die tomorrow, whatever the case is. And that's a great reminder. I'm trying to put the book, so people can see it, but the glare is putting. But anyway, the main point is this is a great book for anybody on their personal development journey to read, for sure. Short book or not that short, it might take 5, 6 hours to read, maybe 7, 8 hours. But it's very concise, simple principles to follow, and a good explanation of those principles, which essentially is digested from decades old or thousands of years old, essentially wisdom, right? It's pretty much in probably, I would say in Bible, at least because I've read a little bit of the Bible or any of the ancient Indian texts, so on and so forth. So anyway, without that, without going into details, like I said, the monk who sold his Ferrari really is about teaching principles on how to live the best version of yourself, best version of, or living the best version of your life or yourself, and how to have essentially the core principles in mind when you do that. Basically, there's certain core principles everybody will have to follow to, it's kind of law of nature, right? Once you do that, you achieve those, or you achieve that inner peace and satisfaction and so on and so forth, thereby success will come, right? Anyway, Monk Who Sold the Ferrari, or Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma. Great read. Highly recommend reading it. If you haven't read it, maybe at least hear it on maybe Audible. I don't know if there's Audible version. I'm sure there is. I haven't seen it yet. I might get it on Audible too, because I'm always trying to read at least once and listen multiple times, potentially, if I like something.